Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 18 of the great cleanup and an update on my property situation. Now these videos, these episodes are going to come thick and fast for a while, and apologies to all you guys that have joined my channel to see worm tests and repair videos and all that sort of stuff. I will get back to them. I've actually got a couple of worm tests that I'm going to squeeze in between some of these video updates. But obviously this takes priority at the moment. Those of you who've been following know that I'm going to be under a fair bit of pressure. It looks fairly certain that I'm going to have to move out of here after about 20 years of trading. So I'm back here this evening. I'm still in my tech room where we finished off the last episode. What I'm trying to do is just thin it out at this stage. I'm going to still have, I would imagine, at least a couple of months plus about 3 weeks till the auction of trading. So I've got to keep the shop operational. I'm still paying rent each week. And we're coming up to a really busy season. Whoops, it's 8:15. We're coming up to a busy part of the year with Easter next weekend, and the place is going to be absolutely chaotic, and it's a good chance for me to sell a lot of old stock and thin things out. So what I'm doing in the tech room is I'm just going around and identifying anything that's old stock. You saw I moved the great big cabinets into Christine's storeroom. I've got a few extra things in here I'll show you in a tick. And I've just been dragging some stuff down off the top of this cupboard. Some of these boxes have been there a long time, and I've just got to deal with them. So I'll show you what I've got to get down and what I'm going to do with it. Okay, for quite a while this room was actually a spare bedroom, and then it was a storeroom, and now I've opened it up. I actually put a doorway through that wall to be part of the shop, and that was fine. These boxes have just stayed up here, and I've never got round to actually dealing with them. And there's boxes of bubble wrap. There's also boxes of those foam packing peanuts or void filler. Obviously, when you do a lot of eBay work, you keep all that sort of stuff. And I still am likely to do a lot of eBay work, but I do have to deal with some of this. I've got way too much at the moment, and we don't have room to store it next door. Interestingly, those two boxes at the bottom, the code is 05FH. And 24KH. Now, I do code my stock as to when I bought it. Now, if we count, watch my fingers here, we had H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, S. S is the year I'm up to now. What was that? 12? 12 years ago I bought that stock. Ephemera, not sorted. Well, ephemera is basically just paperwork, brochures, all that sort of stuff. I've obviously dumped it in the box and didn't have time to deal with it and threw it up on the cupboard. 12 years ago? I guess I better go through that. This room's thinning out a fair bit. I have changed it a bit. I've put this massive big thing. This was in a storeroom in the other room. How cool is it? It's actually probably a museum piece. It's a very early butter churn, basically a barrel mounted on a frame. Check out how cool the rollers are. The axle just sits on an idler wheel, and if I get a bit closer I can actually lift the barrel up and it just rolls on the idler wheel. So no bearings back in those days. This would probably be 1800s, late 1800s, and it's a little damaged. I love the little frame, and it's got swing out handles each end, cast iron handles, so that you get a person each end and you can carry it around. So it's got a crank handle this end. I've had to put a frame in front of the crank handle because I don't want kids spinning it over, and also the handle actually sticks out. I don't want anyone to impale themselves. It is a great piece. It should have been in the shop a long time ago. It was one of these pieces that I thought it was really cool and never kind of got round to selling it. Churn number 1B size. Beautiful brass plaque. I did just polish it with a little bit of fine steel wool just so that it was easy to read. Obviously English made. Probably came out on a ship to Australia in the early colonial days. Beautiful piece. Little bit damaged in places, and the barrel has had a little bit of borer a long time ago, and it's a little bit weakened. You can see some fine holes there, typical of what borer does. Little insects that eat the wood. But yeah, they're not there now. It's old damage. So it's a really cool item to have in the shop. I didn't know what price to put on it. I basically just pulled a figure out of the air. I think I put $250 on it. And look, I don't know, how do you price these things? No one can, you can't just go to the next shop and see what they sell them at, because you'd probably never ever see another one. So we'll see how we go there. I'd be happy to get that for it. Anyway, it's in my tech room. I guess it's the other end of tech. It's not high tech, it's low tech. So yeah, this room's a bit thinned out now. As I said, I've been through and picked out some old stock and moved some cabinets around, and basically it's a lot more organised than it was. And I've just got to finish getting these boxes down. Now, with all these peanuts, these void filler or packing peanuts, they are made from potato starch, I think, or corn starch. They are dissolvable in your compost bin, and I have done a trial on them one other time where the worms will actually eat them, and I'll link that up above if you want to go and actually look at that experiment. What I thought I'd do with this, though, I don't know how I've accumulated so much of it, and I very rarely use this stuff. I prefer just wrapping things in bubble wrap. So I might just put a post on our local Facebook community group and see if anyone has a use for it and just give it away. If not, if there's no takers, I'm not going to store this much. If I don't get any takers, I'm actually going to tip it in one of my big worm farm areas and give it a good water. It'll kind of melt down and the worms will be right into it. And if I do that, I'll just film the results for you so you can see how it all disappears back into nature. But we'll try and give that stuff away. Hopefully someone has a use for it. Excellent news, guys. Someone contacted me from that Facebook, in fact a few people commented on that Facebook post, and a lady came and took every single box of those peanuts, those packing peanuts. She didn't limit herself to 10,000, as you may have read the ad I put on, and she took them all. I believe she's going to feed them to her chooks. For those of you not in Australia, that would be chickens or hens or fowls. We call them chooks. Apparently they eat them and they love them because they are just potato starch. So what have I done? I've finished in the tech room. It's the next day. In fact, it's the day after I last spoke to you. We've got the tech room pretty organised. I've moved all the stuff off the top of the cupboard, which is good. I can now move some more stock into that room and keep it turning over, and anything that's sort of I either don't want in the future as far as storage and shelving goes, I might put a special price on and clear out. We're going to have to sort of structure this to happen over time. I don't want to sell all my shelving first up because we're going to need some next door, and I'm not sure what we're going to need. Christine's been really busy moving a heap of stuff around in her shop. Once she gets an idea in her head, it's like 300 mile an hour. Anyway, that's how she is. I've had a day in the backyard today. It's been quite nice. We're just starting to run out of light, so let's go for a walk and see what I've been doing. I've kind of been jumping from one spot to another, but hopefully there's some improvements happening. So let's go for a walk. So there's still stuff everywhere, as you can imagine. I found a few more electric motors, which I'll be taking next scrap run, which probably will be next week. I'm not sure on that. I've got the green waste bin. It's going to be full every week. So we're getting rid of weeds and various other things that we can put in there. I've brought up a heap of broken bricks from down the back. I used to sit drums on them, but I'm not going to need them anymore. And I just put one or two in the bottom of the rubbish bin before I start putting stuff in, and that way when the truck empties it, it sort of guarantees that everything falls out. Sometimes if you put things that aren't overly heavy in the bottom of the bin, they sometimes get stuck at the bottom, so I find one or two bricks actually helps that, and I don't need to keep half bricks. So I've made a bit of progress in various spots. I feel that the pathway down to the back is getting wider. These buckets are out here because Coco was playing with them. For some reason she loves buckets. She also loves things with wheels, and she loves kids. So if she ever sees a kid riding a bike with a bucket on its head, she's going to just go berserk. I've been picking up bits and pieces as we go down here. Every time I do a walk from the back of the yard to the front, I like to carry something. It's kind of like a backload. If you take something down the back, you must bring something back. So things are gradually finding their place. This area I did have clean, but then again it's kind of a bit of a work area now, so I've been filling old microwave bodies with pressing steel, and that stack's getting larger down the back. My area here where this vise is, I've been doing a lot of cutting. I've got the grinder out. I've been finding a lot more brass and copper pipe. There's a bucket there of a lot of brass fittings building up again. I'm finding a few little copper cylinders here. Stuff that I've sort of thrown here over the years. That lawnmower's clearly been there a while. There's a tree growing up through the handlebars, so it's probably only scrapped that mower. A nice big copper tank full of lots of other copper bits, some big long lengths of pipe. So there's some pretty good value hiding here in the debris under these trees. I'm gradually digging it out. There's a pile of aluminium and stainless steel, a couple of old brass toilet cisterns, and I've moved a lot of pipe and stuff from around my little work area here. So I quite enjoy working out here. A bit more pipe and stuff to sort out there. I've got to decide what I've got to do with some of that, because I'm not just going to scrap everything. I've been stacking good lengths of pipe here. I'm resisting the urge to take it home because I don't do a lot of metal work. So I'll probably group these down the side of the shop and sell them, and I'm sure farmers or home engineers or someone that does metal work would, love to buy some good straight lengths of steel. Some of it's actually solid too. Some other bits and pieces to take down the back. I've been stacking up a bit more aluminium today, a bit of extruded. Let's walk down the back lane, which probably looks messier, but I've actually made a lot of progress with regards to, I've got enough heavy melt steel stacked up ready for the next trip, and that will be the trip after the electric motors. So a lot of the groundwork I'm doing now is great, because I can just throw it all in the van and go to Melbourne when I need to. Behind that, there's a washing machine and an old stove. There's some drums back in under that tree that are all full of electric motors as well, so I might get another load of those too while the price is good. Now, what else did I do? I got rid of some pallets. I had a heap of big pallets, and I'll show you the photo I took of them. I put them out the back gate, and again I did a listing on Facebook community group. If anyone wants free pallets for projects, I'm going to have to let some of them go, and had a few messages, and they all went within a day. So that's great. I'll round up a few more that I've got around the yard. Pleased that I can give them away to other people for their projects. I didn't really want to burn them, but that was kind of a last resort. But I'm happy that I can give stuff away like that. You can see here now I've got a lot more drums all packed up, all loaded, ready to go with heavy melt steel. There's also a pile here of just stuff that's too big to put in drums, but really good weight. So I'll probably do another load of this, as I said, after the next one of electric motors, and we shall do that. I don't know, I don't really want to do a load every week at this stage. I do have to be a little bit mindful of the income before the end of the financial year. I've got a fair bit more to go here, but we have cleared quite an area, and they're just empty drums there. So even though it looks probably more cluttered to the average Joe, I'm actually making good progress. I'm also going to do a load of stainless steel at some stage. I've got a lot more old sinks and things around the place. I have tried to sell these, and I have sold one or two, but with the price of stainless steel up around $2 a kilo now, I'm better off value taking them to the scrapyard. There's another one in there with a nice big copper P-trap on it, so we'll get that off next chance we get. So I'm not going to touch the timber for now. That can all wait. I might even do some photos when I get the yard a bit more organised, and people might like to come in and help themselves for garden projects or something. As I said, I'd much prefer to give it away than burn it. So that's about what we're up to in the yard. I believe there are larger open spaces than what there used to be. If you look back on the earlier episodes, I'm sure you'll notice that. I did get the Roundup out today, and I have sprayed all that area, so that should now be pretty low maintenance, I hope. There's a whole heap. See that wire, that tangly wire stuff there? That's actually all aluminium wire, and it's quite thick. So I'll be doing some loads of aluminium as well fairly soon. Okay, what's next? I haven't got into the shed, but I have been coming back nearly every evening that I can, and the weather's still quite mild, so I'll probably get back into the shed soon. We'll have a look at that in the next episode, but I think we're just about done for this one. I will show you the tally of my trips to the scrapyard when I find the paperwork, so we'll do that just before we wind up this video. Righto, let's conclude this episode, this part 18 of the Great Cleanup. I'm standing in my shed, can you believe it? And have a look at this. There is actually clean concrete floor. Mind you, I still have a bit of work to go down the other end. I've been doing evenings out here, and it's been quite nice. Mild evenings, it's been quite nice mucking around here, sorting stuff and discovering things. So I'll show you a bit more about what I'm finding in my shed in the next episode. Let's finalise this one. Firstly, updates with what's going on with the property. In the last 3 minutes, I actually just had a call from the real estate company. They've got another inspection happening early next week. There has been about 3 inspections since I last spoke to you. A couple of them came at once. They had a bit of a walk through. I've got to say, most people appear to be a little disappointed in what they're seeing. I'm not sure if it was misrepresented online, but it's anyway. You draw your own conclusions. You know as much about it as I do, except perhaps the actual condition of the place, although I have explained it a bit. I don't want to run it down too much. It's not my place. And as I've explained, that I'm kind of almost, well, Kristen and I are both actually really looking forward to consolidating in one place. So that's probably going to happen anyway. So I don't really mind if the place sells or not now, as long as it's not super quickly. Anyway, no more to report. The auction as we speak now is only just over 2 weeks off, so that will be interesting. I'm going to try and film it. I'm not exactly sure if I'm allowed to. It's an online auction and you have to register to be able to see it, but I might just record and you know, if I ask if I can do it and they say no, then I can't. If I just do it, then I can say sorry, but you guys will get to see what's happening. So we'll do that, I think. Let's live dangerously. So all I've got to do now, that's what's happening with the updates of the property. All I'm going to do is continue my mad clean. I am enjoying the process. We are discovering some interesting bits and pieces. Coco's loving me spending time in the backyard, and she's been running around like crazy and helping me when I move things. All we've got to do now is have a look at the figures from my scrap runs and show you where I'm up to with that. And I will keep these figures updated each episode, and I'll also probably mention them on our scrap runs. I'm thinking I will do a scrap run later next week with the electric motors, but that's subject to change. So, all right, let's have a look at the figures. So here we go. Let's jump straight to the totals. I have removed so far out of this yard almost 7 tonne of scrap metal, which has realised me bit over $10,500. Certainly a great time to clean up, and any scrappy will certainly appreciate how good the prices are worldwide. From all the scrappers I watch around the other parts of the world, prices are great everywhere, so that's really nice. I did include the trip I did last year, which was I just thought I'd better start cashing some stuff in, and boy did I have the van overloaded that time. I certainly don't want to put that much weight in it now. It seems to drive really well at about 1.5 tonnes, so we'll keep doing that. Getting my $2,000 plus each trip. So we'll do another trip next week, I think, electric motors, and then we'll probably do another load of heavy steel after that. So thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying this this journey with me. I never know what's going to happen. It's kind of fun. It just goes to show that in life you can't make concrete plans. You just need to be good at adapting. I think I'm pretty good at adapting. It's just that I've had 20 years where I haven't had to. I'm not sure if I used that line earlier or not. If I have, forgive me. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. We might squeeze in a quick worm test next video, and then we'll be straight back onto the yard cleans and trips to the scrapyard. Catch you then. Bye for now.